Hello and welcome to the Biz Kidz Podcast. I'm JD Rabali, your host, and today I'm excited. We have a co-host with us, Alexa. You saw her on our very first episode, and you got to hear her story. And we have our guest with us today, John Huffman of Huffman Construction and John Huffman Speaks. And we're going to be asking questions about John's business and his experience in the entrepreneurship world. And Alexa is going to help us in that whole conversation and ask questions from a young person or a student's perspective of a business owner. So just if this is the first time you found us, what we're all about is the Biz Kidz Podcast. Is we want to inspire kids to start businesses. We want them to get out there, try to sell a product, a service, make money for themselves, and so they can experience what it is to be in business. And we want to get feedback from mentors and business owners to help them in that process. So today, with John Huffman as our guest, John has actually been with our program and helps us a lot with the mentorship. He speaks at a lot of our events to the kids, and so we appreciate everything that he does. He's also in the construction world. He helps small businesses scale and to build their business, and then he also helps the kids on the other side. So to get started, John, why don't you give us a 60-second pitch about who you are and what you do? You tell us from your perspective.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, I've got two things that I do is I help those with life controlling issues and I help business owners with their issues. And the reason that I do that is because those are the two biggest pains that I've had in my life, right? So that's the most experience that I can speak from. So I train and coach business owners, and I train and coach people that have went through some life controlling issues in their past. And I've built a multi-million-dollar business, construction business, so I can really help those with pains in the trades world, right? And in my construction business, we do high-end renovation. So usually west of 41 or condominiums. Most of my clients, it's their second home or third home.
Great. And today we have with us Alexa, our co-host, and she's a young person. She's actually been judged by you at the different events. And so she has some questions for you today about her perspective from a student's perspective. So Alexa, I'll turn it over to you. Go ahead and give him the hard-hitting questions.
Well, hi, John. It's a pleasure to be able to interview you this time and to be able to ask you questions to see what your perspective is as a business owner. So to start off the podcast, what are the biggest challenges you face as a business owner that other business owners, no matter their type of business, can relate to?
So here's the biggest one, right? Time management. Because we all go into business for time. And then the what happens is the business that we created to gain the time takes all of our time.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the double-edged sword in life. So I believe for every business owner, anybody that's really shooting for the moon has that I want to call it monkey on their back of time management. How are they going to stay at home with their family, be the father they're called to, the husband they're called to, and also be the successful business owner at the same time?
Okay, great response. Love that. Definitely can relate to that as well. Just hearing about that, I hear a lot that time management is such a big thing when it comes to the business world. And especially as a student, having to do school and everything, just imagining how you are being a general contractor, a business coach, a father, and putting yourself out to the public as well. It's a big responsibility. So it's really great to know that no matter what level you are in life, if you're a father, a mother, whatever you're doing in life, to know that we can all relate to that.
Absolutely.
And to follow up with another question, how does your experience as a contractor influence the advice and strategies you provide as a business coach to other business owners?
So, that's a great question. I think in me being in the construction world, like it's a blessing for this question, right? Because construction is legit controlled chaos. There's so many moving parts. And what I mean by moving parts is, let's say you're doing a build or you're doing a renovation. So you got to know the openings of your windows. You got to know the openings of your doors. Then you got to know what's going on the outside, what's going on the inside, what flooring's going down, what direction is the flooring going, what color grout's going in between the flooring, what baseboard, what style cabinets, what style countertops. Are we doing an undermount sink? You know, the list goes on and on and on, right? So as a construction worker and employer, I believe I here at Huffman's Construction Group have managed the ability to systemize all these moving parts. So if we can take something as complex as a house and create a structure where we understand moving parts, all we do is apply what works in that area to other areas of our lives, right? Because everybody's life has different moving parts, and there's multiple moving parts to those items in their lives. So all we do is take what works in one area and apply it to others. And for me, as a construction manager and an employer, um, and now a coach, I've taken those processes and systems and showed people, listen, this is how you apply it. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We just take the wheel and we put it on different vehicles, right? It's the same wheel. It functions the same way, but we're taking it off of this vehicle and we're putting it on your vehicle so that we can get you moving in the right direction.
Perfect. Yeah, I definitely love how you can implement something that's so simple as a home and put it based off of your career as a business coach as well. It's something that's so great, and it kind of shows that no matter what you're doing, when it comes to advice, you can always relate to it to someone else in such a simple manner, whether it's your job, like as a general contractor, a home, or anything else. And it's really inspiring to see that you can connect what you're doing on an everyday basis to also help others and speak to them on that sense. So it's really great to see that. And knowing that you are a business coach, what necessarily inspired you to become one, to help out people and say that this is what you want to do, is help others?
So I'll try not to get preachy. I know you said we're not allowed to drop F-bombs, but are we allowed to get preachy?
Hey, you can go ahead and preach. I don't care.
So the deal is this. I believe that our ministries and our purpose is all based around our biggest pains. So a lot of times God's biggest purpose for our life is based around some of the biggest pains that we've went through, right? And for me, as a business owner, my pain was being in debt. My pain was lack of time management. My pain was not being there for my children the way that I think I should have been, or that I know I should have been. So those pains haunted me, right? So the best way to go against those pains is find that solution, right? Find that cure for those pains that sometimes we self-inflict or life inflicts upon us, but those pains occur. So as I found those solutions, I thought to myself, man, if I can find these solutions, somebody like me, someone who, the world may look at as uneducated, doesn't have a college degree, went and got his GED, if I can learn these solutions through the pains of life and then document them and give them to somebody else, regardless of their situations, and help them with their pain so that I can fulfill my purpose, then that's what I want to do. And it's been fulfilling. And again, my two biggest purposes is helping those with life controlling issues, whether that be addiction, gambling, whatever that life controlling issue is, anxiety, depression, and then business management, because those were the two pains that I've felt the most. So as a young adult, I struggle with addiction. And as an adult in business, I built a multi-million-dollar business. I had $10 million a year in revenue, anywhere between 30 and 50 employees at a time, showroom,
Wow.
7 vans on the road, 9 trucks total. And I was in a lot of pain, and I was in a lot of distress. And I realized that that's not what it's about. It's not about the materialistic things, but it's about the other things, the legacy things that matter the most. So that's what's given me the passion to go and help other businesses as a coach.
Oh, wow. What an inspiring story that you have. And to know that you're using your pain to become the light in another person's darkness is really inspiring. And seeing how things just as church has helped you so much to be able to feel that you want to help others out and just touching other people's lives. Because, at the end of the day, one could have a successful business and, like how you said, a multi-million worth business, but knowing that it's not all about the materials. At the end of the day, it's just about what you're giving, what your legacy is, and overall what you represent overall, because the materials and the money is not going to really represent your true sense of self and how you are as a person. So seeing that you have used your pain and that you have allowed God to lead you to where you are now and you have helped others really says a lot about your story and how you are growing as a person and how you will help others grow. So it's really great to see that. It's really, I could even say myself, I don't know you full on, but I'm proud of you, man. Like it's really great to see that. So I'm gonna come up with a final question here. So as a person who has been a part of the business world for quite some time now, what is the best type of advice you would give to a young entrepreneur just like myself?
Organics, organics. And what do I mean by that? Like, let it grow at its pace. You know, we get so wrapped up in today's society on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. We're all on Instagram. And you've got young entrepreneurs with Lamborghinis and all of these things. And there's a cost to everything. So, like, I always say this to everybody, count the cost. Who do you want to become? Well, I want $100 million company. That's great. But count the cost. What is the cost? There's a cost to it. Are you willing to bring on that kind of stress? Are you willing to bring on that kind of debt? Are you willing to dedicate your life and neglect everything that some people say matter? Maybe your business matters. And I don't know what that cost is for you, but I ask you as a young entrepreneur, count the cost. But I know this, even if we count the cost and we let it be organic, let it grow in efficiency with it with you, and as you grow, it's gonna last a lot longer, and the fruit is gonna taste a lot better, right? So if we just
Mm-hmm.
plant the seeds, go at your pace, because here's the thing: as your business grows organically, you know what else does? You do, because there's a character that's being built as your business is being built. And if your business outgrows your character, eventually your character is going to crumble. So a lot of times God wants us to grow organically, because as our business grows, so are we. We're being sharpened so we can sustain the things that we're receiving in business. So again, to answer your question, organics. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Oh man, yeah, what a great response. Definitely. Definitely can agree with you on that of when you do things organically, you yourself grow as a person, because if you just pay somebody to do something each time, you're not going to really gain that knowledge and know the struggles and know how it actually is to put that time and consistency into your own business. So when you go through that hardness of working and putting all that time and effort into your business, you really tend to see who you are as a person, what you tend to like as well, what skills you're growing into. Definitely, that's a great response, and I can definitely say I agree with that too.
Thank you, Alex.
And John, I know in the past you've talked to the kids about going through valleys
Yeah.
and being on the mountaintop.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit of that story? The people that haven't heard that, I think that's a great way to illustrate, trying to go for the top of the mountain, but
Yeah.
when you get there,
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
let you explain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite analogies. So I always say, tell people this, all the fruit is grown in the valley, right? Because in the valley is where all your vegetation's at. It's where all the cultivating process is. So if we look at our lives as the valley and the cultivating place, that's where we're being cultivated. That's where we're leaning on God. That's where we're asking the hard questions. That's where we're learning all the life difficulties. And then you got the mountaintop, right? But if you look at a picture of a real mountaintop, not a Florida one or a Georgia one, a real one, it's all frozen. Nothing grows on the mountaintop. All there is on the mountaintop is a really good view. So you got to go through the cultivating process to grab the fruit, to grab the resources that you need, so that when you reach the mountaintop, you can sustain the mountaintop. But if you skip that valley and you get on that mountaintop prematurely and you don't have the resources, you freeze, you die. And here's the kicker. Let's say you go through the cultivating process and you get through that valley and you get all your resources and you've got all your fruit and everything you need to survive. And you get to that mountaintop. You know what is at the top of the mountaintop? The bottom of the next mountain. It's time to
Oh,
start over and go to the next mountain, right? And that's the beautiful thing about life, that even when we reach those peaks and valleys, right, and we get to the peak, it's just the beginning of the next valley. So we've got to understand that there's not a place of comfort in this world, right? Everything is birthed out of discomfort. All prosperity is birthed out of discomfort. If anybody ever calls John Huffman a prosperity preacher, they've never heard me preach, right? Because there's only one way to prosperity, and that is pain. And there ain't a prosperity preacher alive that's going to say that. But I know that that's what God does with us. He takes us through those cultivating processes. He gets us to the peak, but he doesn't want us to get comfortable and stay there. He says, okay, it's time to get uncomfortable again and move to the next season of your life.
Wow.
John, I know you've been in the construction world for a long time, and you've started the consulting with the other business owners, and now you're doing John Huffman Speaks. Where's your business? Where do you see what's the next big thing for John Huffman, and where do you want to go?
Yeah, so my dream would be one of my kids or multiple of my kids kind of take over Huffman's Construction Group. That's where I came up with the name. So we've got one more that's 13 that's coming behind. My other daughters are in college. I don't know, maybe they'll come back one day, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to continue to grow Huffman organically, right? Because I am okay with scaling if the right people are in the right seats and the efficiency's there. But I don't want to scale just for the sake of scaling, because if you have issues or the right people or the wrong people in the wrong seats, as you scale, so do those problems. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like scaling can be just efficiency, because if we scale with problems, your problems scale too. So that would be my goal. My goal would be one of my kids start taking this over, or I find someone to mentor and grow it, and then me be speaking full time. So the Lord gave me a vision of 1 million entrepreneurs running their businesses as ministry. I call it BAM, business as ministry. So my vision is to empower entrepreneurs to bring Jesus into the marketplace. So that's where I see myself in the next 10 years.
That's great.
It's really
Alexa,
great.
do you have any other final questions for John?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm leaving here inspired. That's what I can say for sure.
Well, good. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us, John, today to kind of share your story. And again, if this is the first time you've listened to our show, we're all about inspiring kids to get out there and try. And a lot of times fear will hold us back. And it's not the fear of the kids either. It's the fear of the parents. The parents don't want to have their kids fail, and they don't want them to have that bad experience. But let your kids fail. Let them get out there. Let them try. Let them get their hands dirty, because that's where they're going to learn most of the lessons. And why not have that happen when they're young instead of having it happen when they're an adult and they're going to lose millions of dollars or thousands of dollars? We just want them to have that experience. Make the mistakes while you're young, and it's not going to hurt as bad. So again, thanks for being here. Look for our next episode. We're always looking for entrepreneurs that have good stories that can help inspire kids. So if you know an entrepreneur that has a great story, send them our way. We'd love to talk to them. But we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for coming to the Biz Kidz Podcast. Thank you, John. And Alexa, you did amazing for your first time out there
Thank you.
a co-host. Thank you for everything you do. And Alexa's been doing the program with us for close to probably 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And she's learned a lot, and I've seen her develop over the years, her skills, and she's doing a great job. So thanks, guys.
You.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.